the news of yesterday where Carmelo Anthony was traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, I thought I would come up here and give 5 players that still need to be traded. Not that they're on the trading market, but they need to be traded immediately, and I mean immediately. Now, before I start this video, I would like to say thank you to everybody. Also, hit that like button down below if you like it. If you want me to keep doing videos like this, comment down below yes or no. Also, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and add me on Snapchat. So without further ado, let's get into player number 5. Number 5, Dennis Schroeder. Now, for those who don't know, Dennis Schroeder is one of the most underrated players in the league. Last year, when he got the starting job after the Hawks decided it's time to move on from Jeff Teague, he averaged nearly 18 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, shot almost 86% from the free throw line, 34% from 3, and 45% from the field, and also added about 1 steal. But in the playoffs, he took off against John Wall, which makes me believe that next year he is going to ball, especially having the ball more in his hands. He averaged nearly 25 points, 8 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, and actually shot 46% from the field and 53% from 3. The guy balled. And then when you consider that he did this against John Wall, who's one of the better premier point guard defenders in the NBA, it only becomes more impressive. Now, why would I want Dennis Schroeder to be traded from the Hawks? Well, here is why. The thing when it comes to Dennis Schroeder is that Dennis Schroeder right now is at the age of 24. By the time that his contract is up, he'll be at the age of 28. And now, let's analyze something here. The Hawks right now are in a state of rebuilding. We all know that. But by the time that the Hawks finish rebuilding will be in about 3 to 4, maybe even 5 years, around the time that Dennis Schroeder's contract is up. But the thing is, I have no problem if you guys want to rebuild and then re-sign him when his contract is up, so that way you can have your point guard of the future. But why not aid the rebuilding process by trading him right now? Or maybe even after next year. I wouldn't be mad if they did that, but I think right now is the perfect opportunity. Plenty of teams right now are looking for a point guard. Teams such as the San Antonio Spurs, I think that they would love to have someone like a Dennis Schroeder. Or also, when you look at a team like the Bucks or the Clippers, those two teams need some point guards to aid their process. So also when you look at the fact that Dennis Schroeder, by the time his contract is up, will be at the age of 28, he'll be wanting to win in his prime. I don't think he'll be wanting to jump on a team that just decided to make the playoffs. And I don't think at that point in time Atlanta will be ready to even make the playoffs. They're a team that kind of doesn't really prepare well, if I'm being honest. If you look at the past few seasons, some of the decisions that they've made have been a bit questionable. You signed Dwight Howard and then you trade him a year after. Al Horford leaves for nothing. Paul Millsap leaves for nothing. I mean, this is a pretty questionable organization, so I don't think by that point in time they'll be ready to even make the playoffs. So I think that trading Dennis Schroeder will definitely aid that process of tanking a few seasons, getting some draft picks, things along that nature. And I don't think Dennis Schroeder wants to be in that kind of situation for much longer, so you might as well trade him right now while you have the chance and not have him go away for boxes of cookies like Jimmy Butler and Paul George did. Number 4, Jahlil Okafor. Now, Jahlil Okafor, if it was 1955, Jahlil Okafor would be one of the most dominant players that the league's ever seen. But it's 2017. Being just a post player is really difficult if you want to have extreme success in the NBA. And also when you add that with someone who plays backup to Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and Dario Saric, dude, you're barely going to get the shine that you want. And for someone like Jahlil Okafor, who's been a winner his whole life, being at Duke and winning there and winning the championship there, it's going to be pretty hard to be what Jahlil Okafor wants to be in the league, because I know he wants to be a top guy. He wants to be one of the best big men that the league has ever seen. But the thing is, when you look at the top big men in the league today, they're not doing what Jahlil Okafor's doing. They're not having their back to the basket literally every single time they get the ball. Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, Cat, even Marc Gasol. If it was 5 to 6 years ago, Marc Gasol wouldn't be having, wide open threes in his face. He wouldn't be shooting threes. He was putting his back to the basket and everything, but now he's expanded his game. That's why someone like a DeAndre Jordan and Rudy Gobert, they can probably never be a top 3 big man in the league, because the big man position is at a point to where you have to be able to stretch the floor, you got to be able to space it, you got to be able to do different things besides have your back to the basket. And when it comes to Jahlil Okafor, that's literally all he is. He's simply just a post player with post moves that are outdated. This is not 2002. This is not 2004. This is not when players like Tim Duncan and players like Amari Stoudemire were the best big men in the league. This is where players such as Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, Karl Anthony Towns, even Marc Gasol, if you want to throw him in there, they're stretching the floor. They are spacing it out. Kristaps Porzingis as well. Kevin Love, if you want to throw him in there. Kevin Love a few years ago was seen as a bit orthodox, someone who's a big man and he's taking threes. Now it's become the everyday thing. Why do you think someone like Giannis needs to get a jump shot? Because shooting threes is so important in today's league. Hell, if it was a few years ago, Jahlil, you would have worked. That's why I believe Jahlil needs to be traded immediately. Jahlil Okafor does not want to be in Philly. Whether Philly's going to be in a winning situation next year or not, he does not want to be there. And I don't think an organization wants to keep someone who doesn't want to be there, first of all. Second of all, has no real value on that team. Let's just be real. Jahlil doesn't really do anything on the Sixers anymore. He's not someone that's prominently in their offense, prominently in that system. And I don't think he fits well with that team anyway. When you look at how Ben Simmons plays, the way he dishes it out to all different players, you're going to see Joel Embiid take more threes next year. And I don't think someone like Jahlil Okafor, who literally you have to pass it to him and let him do some post moves, I don't think he fits well with that team. And I think right now he needs to be traded. I mean, I don't know how much you can get back for him, but I know that right now he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't fit with the team. And let's just be real. Let's just see what he can do when he's in a team to where it fits for him. They can literally throw him the ball, have him do his magic, even though it is outdated. Have him do what he needs to do in the paint. And, growing some defensive ability as well, Jahlil, it won't hurt you. So Jahlil, you need to get traded. Philly, get up on Jahlil's contract and trade him immediately. Number 3, Eric Bledsoe. Now personally, I believe Eric Bledsoe should have been traded a few years ago. Yeah, a few years ago. But due to bad decisions from Phoenix, him getting injured sometimes, it's kind of, hurt his career a bit. He plays in the West, so he doesn't really get many accolades and a lot of recognition with all the point guards that play in that conference. He's on a team that isn't really winning. Let's just be real. A few years ago, they tried to have that, horrible, and I mean, this was such a bad idea of getting all the point guards in the league and putting them on one team. They had Isaiah Thomas, Goran Dragic, and Eric Bledsoe on the same team. They went completely small ball. They had the point guardians of the galaxy all on the same team, and we all saw how that turned out for them. So add that with the fact that Eric Bledsoe's been hurt over the past few years, and last year was probably his best year because of the fact that he was healthy throughout the whole year. Yeah, it hasn't been looking too well for Eric Bledsoe. But when we look at his contract, it's actually pretty reasonable. He's making about $13 to $15 million a year, and that's a steal in today's league for someone who's, giving you 20 points, 6 assists, and about 5 rebounds. I mean, that's a steal. That's a huge steal. Someone who can be a third or second option on a championship team. I think third option. But, for someone like that, that's a huge steal. And like I said, for Dennis Schroeder, there are plenty of teams who are looking for point guards. You have the Spurs, the Bucks, the Clippers could use a legitimate point guard. I mean, Jesus Christ. It would do well for someone like an Eric Bledsoe to be on a team like the Spurs or to be on a team like the Bucks. That would be raw for him to be on the Bucks. And Eric Bledsoe right now, after next season, he's going to be on an expiring contract, and I don't think you want someone of his talent to walk away for basically a bag of chips and for nothing. I mean, you could get probably a mid-first round pick for Eric Bledsoe, so you might as well go out and get him. And also, let's just be real. Eric Bledsoe's talent is being wasted in Phoenix. He is wasting away prime years that could be used on championship contending teams, on a team that is rebuilding. They weren't even focusing on him last year. He was benched for a portion of last year because the fact that they wanted to give minutes to the other young players that are a part of their future. That shows he's not in the future plans, so trade him. Get the most that you can get for him now before it's too late. Number 2, Kemba Walker. Now guys, calm down, put your pitchforks down. I know Kemba Walker is a top 10 point guard in the league, so why should he be traded? Well, let's start off with this. The Charlotte Hornets aren't going anywhere, and I mean anywhere. Yes, I know they got Dwight Howard, who to some people, that's not really much of an upgrade. And yes, I know they have Nicholas Batum, they have some valuable pieces. But Kemba Walker, he's on an expiring contract in 2019. And yes, I know the team can throw him a max and things along that nature, but do you really think that someone in his prime, someone like Kemba Walker, would want to stay on a team in Charlotte to where they're most likely going to lose Dwight Howard for nothing? I mean, I don't think they're going to throw Dwight Howard some hefty contract. I think Dwight Howard is going to start ring chasing personally after next season, because at this point he needs something to validate his Hall of Fame career. I think he's already got his money. I think he's fine with that. So I think he's going to start ring chasing. So with no Dwight Howard, he has Nicholas Batum, but for how long? Do you think he wants to re-sign with a small market team like Charlotte and stay there and waste away his prime years even more? Or go to a team like Milwaukee or San Antonio or the Clippers to where they need a point guard and he can be on a championship contending team, or at least contend for a championship, because Charlotte isn't going to be doing that anytime soon. I mean, let's just face the facts. Kemba Walker right now is at the age of 27. By the time that his contract is up in 2019, he'll be at the age of 29. Do you think that he's going to want to sign a max contract and pretty much throw away his career and say screw rings? Do you want to place money on that? Or do you want to trade him now? And I mean, if they wait till after this season, this man is going to be on an expiring contract and you're going to get nothing. You're going to get pennies for this man. So I think that they need to trade him right now. They need to trade him immediately. This guy's going to lose prime years if he signs a max, and I don't see him doing that. So they need to trade him now before it gets too late as well, because like I said, Jimmy, Paul George, they got traded for nothing, man, for crap, for scrap metal, for rust. You don't want the same thing to happen with Kemba Walker. Number 1, Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum. Now guys, like I said for Kemba, put your pitchforks down. This has nothing to do with the talent. It's simply about the contract and about the player. Guys, let's establish this right now. This backcourt is one of the best backcourts in the league, but it struggles defensively, and I mean heavily struggles. We all know Damian Lillard struggles as a defensive liability sometimes. CJ McCollum defensively isn't that impressive either, to say the least. So why do I want them to be traded? Well, for one, like I said, defensively they're not really working out well, and secondly, let's be real, this team is in salary cap issues like hell, and if you love these players, you don't want them to stay and waste prime years on this horrible organization. Damian Lillard, for starters, you could trade him for a lot of first round picks. Let me rephrase that. You could trade him for some picks, trade him for probably a few players here and there, and then you could get something for him. Damian Lillard right now, his contract looks like this. He signed a 5-year, $139 million contract. He is set to be a free agent by the age of 31. Do you think 31-year-old Damian Lillard, out of his prime, is going to be happy? Do you think he's going to want to stay in Portland? Because first of all, Portland, you're not going anywhere anytime soon. So you might as well trade Damian Lillard right now in the middle of this contract. This is literally in the middle of his contract, guys. In the middle of it. Or wait till 2021 and see what you can build around him, because you're not going to be able to put anything around him. Look at how you failed. You threw away Wesley Matthews, threw away LaMarcus, threw away Batum. You threw away all those players. And I understand you got Nurkic, you got McCollum, and I understand you have more time, but why not trade him now? Because let's start off with this. I'll get to CJ later, but let's start off with this. You have Nurkic, who you're probably going to have to re-sign, and you're going to have to go over the cap because they have salary cap issues out of the ass. I mean, let's just think about it here. You have Evan Turner's bad contract. I know you got rid of Allen Crabbe, but you still got Turner's. Dame and CJ got hefty contracts where they're making over 20 plus mil. Then you're going to have to re-sign Nurkic, and this team is going to be at best, what, a 6th or 7th seed team? Just trade these two players right now while they have high value. Now let's go to CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum signed a 4-year, $106 million extension. This man, for the next 4 years, is going to be making roughly around $26 to $27 million a year. To do what? Get eliminated in the first round of the playoffs? These two players are too talented and too good to be wasting their primes. By the time both of them come out of this contract that they are both currently in, they're going to be at least 30 years old. CJ McCollum 30, Damian Lillard will be 31. And for Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, two players who don't have, a lot of credentials to their name, and I'm talking about accolades. They don't have many accolades to their name. Damian Lillard is already at the age of 27, and he's only got 3 All-Star appearances. It's pretty obvious that these two players may not make the Hall of Fame due to the fact that they play in a tough and difficult Western Conference. It's pretty obvious. Let's just face the facts here. They're not going to be winning much. They're not going to get championships. For them, for their legacies, I think that it's best for them to get out of Portland as soon as possible. They need to be demanding a trade. They need to be at the front office, banging on their door saying, hey, get us the hell out of Portland because, Jesus Christ. Either trade one of them or trade them both, because at this point, it's gotten to the point where your salary cap issues are horrible. Your team isn't going anywhere. You have 2 all-star talents, all NBA player talents on your team, and you clearly cannot build around them. I say either trade them now or wait till after next season when Nurkic's contract is up and, them two have another year of experience together. Give it a go. Give it a 3 go. But I think that right now you need to trade these guys because their value is high. Everyone in the league knows what CJ can do. He's had 2 years of all-star, talent put on display for everyone to see. Damian Lillard, we all know what he can do. And I think that it's time to let him go and just rebuild. Have Nurkic play a year and, have him go away into free agency. I know it's tough to lose somebody for nothing, but you might as well let Nurkic go because you can't re-sign him for what? For what? Let Nurkic go and help another team. You need a tank. Give it a few seasons, go through the rebuilding process, and also try to get rid of that Evan Turner contract. Jesus Christ. Why am I giving the Blazers advice? They need everything. You know what they need? They need Jesus. But hey, Jesus is telling me to tell you guys to trade Dame and CJ. Stop holding them hostage. Please let them fly. Everybody put it on Twitter. Go to my Twitter and at me and say hashtag free Dame, hashtag free CJ, because we need to free these guys, man. We need to free these brothers. They are trapped in the cell. They are trapped in the cell. They are going to end up being like the Karl Malones and the Charles Barkleys. They're going to end up being like the Patrick Ewings, the ones who stay loyal to franchises and never get any championships. We don't want that from these guys. And you know what's even worse? These guys may not even make the Hall of Fame due to the fact that they play in one of the most toughest Western conferences that we've ever seen. So hashtag free Dame, hashtag free CJ. Alright, so if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Also comment down below your opinions. Comment if you like this video or not. Also sub if you are new to the channel, and also hit that bell next to my name to be notified. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and add me on Snapchat. Thank you for all the support. If you guys do want a Q&A, because I did ask this in my last video but I didn't go into too much depth, guys, comment down below if you want a Q&A. Now also, you guys, I want you to do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Have a great day. Peace. I've been